Have a look at this. Battlefield 6 running at ultra settings with DLSS and frame generation, 1600p, that's the native res of the laptop. I'm getting 170, 200 frames per second. It is, of course, the brand new Lenovo Legion 5i Gen 11. This is the brand new 2026 model, and it is an absolute whopper of an update. This level of performance with this display, it's a 165Hz Quad HD Plus OLED if you're asking, terrific battery life, great connectivity, properly good cooling, and some fancy AI shenanigans going on behind the scenes to give you even better performance. I'm very excited to show you this and give you a bit of a walkthrough. And you know what? It always fills me with confidence when a brand reaches out with their new product and wants to sponsor a video when they give me complete control. No editing scripts, no notes. So shout out to Lenovo Legion and Intel for partnering with me on this video. The biggest internal upgrade though is these new Intel Core Ultra Series 3 processors. And the secret sauce here is the mix of three types of Intel's latest CPU cores. We've got the P cores, which are your peak performance cores that keeps everything snappy and responsive. You've got the E cores, which specialize in multi-threaded performance, and then the LP E cores, which are designed for less demanding everyday tasks, helping to boost efficiency and battery life. And of course, it's not just the processor, we also have Xe3 graphics architecture, which is significantly faster than the last generation integrated graphics, particularly with their XeSS3 and frame generation turned on. So much faster than the previous generations, like up to double the performance. And it does come with a MUX switch, so this will automatically switch between those integrated graphics and the discrete NVIDIA graphics to give you the best performance and battery life. Oh, and if you're wondering about this, it is a Lenovo Legion gaming monitor. It's the perfect pairing for your Legion laptop. In fact, they've got a whole ecosystem of mice, keyboards, headphones, peripherals, and monitors. This is a 27-inch Quad HD 240Hz OLED display. So if you do want a second screen for your laptop, which I certainly do, this is definitely worth considering. So what's new with this Gen 11 Legion 5i, which is one of Lenovo's more mainstream gaming laptops? But I reckon this may actually be the best bang for your buck, whether you're gaming, video editing, doing 3D work. I mean, this could be just as much for your work and college as it is for your late night gaming sessions. It is thinner, it is lighter, which is already a great start for a gaming laptop, and look at this screen, it is gorgeous. This is their PureSight OLED gaming display, 165Hz, Quad HD Plus resolution, and they finally added VRR. We get G-Sync VRR, something that was criticized perhaps about the previous generation, so G-Sync now, and also there are no more IPS options. It's OLED or nothing. It's also faster, better cooling, we'll come to that in a second, but we need to talk about the battery life, because usually pretty terrible for gaming laptops. And while Lenovo have said, don't specify this because it can come down to the spec of your laptop, how you're using it, what games you're running, the temperature, the wind, your star sign. There's so many variables that they don't want to say officially how much better it is. But between you and me, apparently it's nearly double the battery life of the previous generation, thanks largely in part to the new Intel Core Ultra Series 3 processors, but also tweaks to the design, the cooling. Given that this is faster, thinner, lighter, and also lasts considerably longer, depending on how you use it, asterisk, asterisk, blah, 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 I think we're talking 12 or 13 hours of kind of everyday non-gaming use. If you are gaming on battery, you'll get around 2 hours-ish of use out of it. That's playing AAA intensive games at high settings. That will last longer if it's less demanding. It all comes down to how you use it, but certainly for non-gaming everyday battery use, it's going to last a lot longer than previous generations. Oh, and yeah, it's faster, thanks to the new Intel chips. Plus, we get Lenovo's new AI Engine Plus. They've also improved the cooling with their latest Legion cold front hyperchamber. Without boring you to death, essentially, the fans underneath suck in the cooler ambient air. Typically, with a lot of laptops, it actually exhausts out the bottom, but it sucks in the cooler air, channels it across the hot parts of the laptop, the CPU, the GPU, and then exhausts it out of the back, which is apparently very efficient, and it does a really good job. And so we have the high performance, better battery life, while maintaining the same temperatures, fan noise as the previous generation. And without compromising the exhaust thermals, they've added some nice I/O at the back there, which means you can keep your desk a whole lot tidier because you've got all your cables at the back out of the way. We have a much higher quality 5 megapixel IR webcam, which now supports Windows Hello Face Unlocking, and it is a Copilot Plus PC thanks to the faster NPU on the new Intel chips, which unlocks more on-device AI features. All in all, a very nice little upgrade, much more than just your traditional spec bump, especially considering that we don't have new NVIDIA graphics cards. If you do fancy a new gaming laptop slash workstation, now's as good a time as any. Well, except for the fact that prices have gone up a fair bit this year due to memory shortages and all those things. 2026 is going to be quite an expensive year regardless of what tech you buy. Now, specs-wise, you can get this Legion 5i with an Intel Core Ultra 7 or 9 processor, an RTX 5050 or 5060, both with 8GB of VRAM and a 115-watt TGP, up to 32GB of RAM and 2TB of PCIe 4 storage, and we have a very healthy size 80Wh battery inside. If you're going to buy this kind of gaming laptop, then get it with the 5060, get it with 32GB of RAM and at least a terabyte of storage. That will last you a lot longer. I think that's the sweet spot for this 5i. Now, as for the display, we're talking excellent color accuracy, one of the best laptops I've tested. Plus, it's Pantone color validated, so it's great for your video and photo editing as well. And of course, being OLED, you get those lovely deep blacks and the fast 1 millisecond response time. It's also Display HDR True Black 1000 certified, and you're getting around 500 nits in SDR. Honestly, this screen is so much better than I would have expected for a mainstream kind of gaming laptop and at this price point. And actually, the 165Hz refresh rate is a really good match for the performance. So how fast is this? Let's jump into a few games. And in Battlefield 6, I'm averaging 254 FPS with 4 times multi-frame generation. And even without NVIDIA's frame gen, I was still breaking triple digits. I'm playing at the full native 1600p Quad HD Plus, I'm getting 76 FPS without frame gen, or 182 with it turned on all the way. On battery, this dropped a little, but it was less than I was expecting. This is definitely still usable even away from the wall, and dropping a resolution or a couple of settings will balance out the performance on battery. In Cyberpunk, with high settings, I got 99 FPS at 1200p and 89 at the full 1600p. And then with frame generation, things get kind of crazy. Even with the more demanding RT Ultra graphics preset, I was getting 112 FPS at native resolution, with an RTX 5060 in here. That is very tasty. And I got close to 250 FPS in F125, and even without multi-frame gen, still a buttery smooth 150. And on battery, this was still very impressive. And here's a couple of extra synthetic benchmarks, just in case you're comparing it with another laptop. But it's also not just about the hardware, the raw performance. We've also got Lenovo's AI Engine Plus. This can dynamically shift power between the processor, the graphics, reducing bottlenecks, improving overall performance, and even battery life. And it's kind of nice to know you're getting the optimal experience without having to do anything. That's all running behind the scenes. Although if you want, you can jump into the Legion Space app and tweak the settings and power profiles per game. If I put my microphone to the laptop, you can probably hear the fan. My usual comment though is once you have the volume up or your headphones on, it drowns that out anyway. So it's a little bit noisy, but actually running very cool. Like the chassis is a bit warm, but I've been running this for like 15 minutes now and it's not hot at all. That's actually very impressive. And you can feel it all being exhausted out the back. This is my segue to talking about the design, which overall I am a big fan of, although slightly wobbly screen. That's like my only criticism. You can see it goes all the way back as a full 180. It is quite nice to have this kind of flexibility from your laptop. So the chassis is 1mm thinner than the last generation and around 100 grams, that's about 1/4 pound lighter. It's a mostly plastic chassis, but the lid is aluminium and there's really not much flex in the chassis. And it's not too shouty, there's no crazy go faster RGB. It's subtle, especially in this Eclipse black color, which this particular model only comes in. Some of the variants of the Legion laptops come in a white as well, but I think this is quite a nice black. You could take this into meetings, into classes. It also comes with this pretty beefy 245-watt power adapter. On the left side, we have dual USB-Cs. One is Thunderbolt 4, although both do support DisplayPort 2.1 and up to 100-watt power delivery, plus an RJ45 for wired internet connections. On the right side, we have a USB 3.2 Type A, audio combo jack, and this e-shutter to hide the webcam if you want. And then around the back, there's 2 more USB Type A's, an HDMI 2.1, and the DC in for power. And let's not forget the Wi-Fi 7 and Bluetooth 5.4 or Bluetooth 6, depending on the spec. Harman speaker system, downward firing, which gets pretty loud and there's definitely some bass, although it's not the most rich sound. It can be a little bit tinny at higher volumes. I would definitely recommend a pair of headphones, but it's fine. I really like the keyboard. Lenovo are famous for making some of the best keyboards, although I don't know if I needed the numpad. That's going to be quite subjective, because it does mean everything, the keyboard, the touchpad's just pushed a little bit to the left. The touchpad's a good size, feels nice, although it is the more traditional diving board type design, which means it's easier to press at the bottom than the top, which you really can't. So, how much does this all cost? Well, the Lenovo Legion 5i starts at just over £1,700, which is not exactly cheap. But then again, given the situation we are in 2026, where everything has gotten more expensive, especially laptops and PC gaming hardware, I think that's not the end of the world. But I think this Legion 5i really does hit a sweet spot in terms of the overall design, the screen, battery life, performance. If you want to check this out and also get the best deals on this, that'll be in the description below. Thank you so much for watching, guys, and I'll see you next time right here on the Tech Chat.